To you, the media outlets, I appreciate you giving me a forum to speak and translate our message to the voters of Bridgeport, to the state of Connecticut, and to the world as it may be. We are deeply committed to this campaign as residents of Bridgeport. There is a resounding concern that change is necessary, that status quo has become unbearable, impacting all aspects of the residents' lives, from the economic standpoint, public safety, and education. Our education system is failing our students. It's becoming a pipeline towards incarceration. The lack of economic development has led to low wages and the overall poor quality of life for all of us here. We can't even get Congress Street Bridge or Pleasure Beach Bridge replaced after 25 years. In a figurative terms, I would say that the bridge of Bridgeport are broken. We
Yes.
represent the voice of those who feel trapped in the cycle. We have walked the streets, we have met with residents, and we are suffering the personal challenges that we are facing on the decisions made of those within City Hall. Personally, my work within the municipal government has allowed me to understand why the cycle persists. When you voice your concern, you are dismissed. And then there's disinformation about campaigns. Believing in the democratic system, we presented a real solution to the residents of Bridgeport. As you know, our campaign was derailed when evidence of systematic attempts to oppress voters and to cheat as the election and it was surfaced. A Superior Court judge agreed that the validity of the September 23 primary, its results could not be validated because we had overwhelming evidence that we presented in court. As well, on the January 2024, there was a narrow primary victory, which remains in question as we requested for all absentee ballots, its application, envelopes, to be subpoenaed and rendered to our campaign for further review, and as well, the many supporters, our supporters, that were turned away at the polls. We know that there has been a call from the mayor, the current administration, some city council leadership, the governor, even columnists from the Hearst media to end this mayoral bid. For those that are calling for my withdrawal, I would like to remind them that there was a court order for a mayoral primary and general election in 2024.
That's right.
That's right.
It's even when respected national and international media publication called into question the validity of this election results. And three superior judges ordered new primaries in the City Council election 2017 and the state representative election in 2022 and the mayoral election now in 2023. It's time for elected leaders to admit that there is a systematic problem in the electoral process here in Bridgeport. These selected people who are calling for my withdrawal to return to business as usual, I will tell you, as we stand here united, that will not happen.
That's right.
no amount of pressure, no amount of deals offered can prevent us
Right. Us. Yes.
for completing our mission
That's
in seeking new leadership in Bridgeport.
Amen. Yes.
If the governor, state senators, state representatives, federal senators, federal representatives truly want to deliver a win for the people of Bridgeport, they need to present election reform in this legislative session. Today, we have not heard anything from officials in Connecticut. No calls for resignation from leadership position within the Democratic Town Committee. No resignation from certain city council members. No termination for a person within the city employment. But equally important, no arrest has been made.
Nope. Nothing.
Selected few are desperate to get back to business as usual. But this is not business as usual.
That's right.
We have a problem in Bridgeport. It cannot be solved without the help of those in elected office. I would say that if elected officials continue to turn a blind eye towards the actions in Bridgeport, we will continue this cycle time and time again. Again, for those that are calling for me to step aside, I would remind them of the court orders from Judge Bellis, Judge Stephen, Judge Clark, that serves as a reminder that there is a systematic election abuse that continues to occur time and time again in Bridgeport. I have met with my supporters, and we have decided not to abandon this campaign because all voters have a final say as to who should elect the next mayor for the great city of Bridgeport. We will continue on to February 27th. Win or lose, we will never give up on Bridgeport.
That's right. Bridgeport for a better Bridgeport. Let's go. Yeah.
It's our city, and it's our time. Thank you.
Hi, my name is John Fahan. I'm the treasurer of the State Central Committee of the Independent Party of Connecticut. My colleague Sean Brown is here. My message to you is also coming from our state chairman, Mike Teleska, who could not make it today. I have some brief statements because I have another appointment. Just want to remind everyone that John basically almost won the last general election.
That's right.
And we should keep that in mind. And the Independent Party of the State of Connecticut feels that we have a very good opportunity for John to be an independent mayor, one of our first independent mayors of Connecticut. So we see an opportunity in that. This is a battle many of our opponents feel that they have already won, but we know something that they don't know about John's campaign that's fueled by the passion and dedication of an underdog that is more about winning an election. It's about standing up for what's right.
Yeah. That's right.
And I have to say, No matter the outcome, when you stand up for what is right in life, you always win.
That's right.
Many of you, all of you here, may not be aware of it because it comes natural to you. But you exemplify what it truly means to be an American. We stand united by the principles that unite us and define us as a people who yearn for a better body politic. You honor and re-sanctify the sacrifices of all those who gave the ultimate price for our country by what you do. John, may the wind be at your back. I wish you the very best for you in Bridgeport. Thank you, everybody.
How are you, media and supporters of John Gomes? I'm very impressed with what I see here. On top of it, when I first talked to John, he's the exact man that stands for, quote unquote, independent-minded. He definitely relates and resonates what we stand for. We're an inclusive party. We demand accountability and transparency. John has demanded that the whole time. I mean, this is before he was even running for office as a mayor. He's done a lot in this city. It's time that he gets recognized.
That's right.
It's time that we put somebody in there that's going to give you him. He's going to give you himself. He's going to give you a leader, not a boss. John is very strong. And I'm a veteran of war. And we need a guy like him. The veterans are being attacked now nationally. We need some people in there. And right now, John can set the pace in Connecticut because Bridgeport is tough in politics. It's very tough. And we'd like to see you take off. The veterans will thank you, and so will Bridgeport. Thank you very much.
So is there a rift in the independent party? Because Wilfredo Martinez does not feel the same way that you gentlemen do.
Everyone has their own opinion. That's what independent thinking is. Okay? If Wilfredo is like that, that's his opinion. But we committed to John Gomes for what he stands for. And somebody, and the chair asked for us to come down here and support him, like we committed to. We, just like John Gomes, we don't say one thing and then do another.
Come on.
We agree. We committed to it. And as a matter of fact, this was actually the chair's idea to support him. So we are going to follow through. He may have changed his opinion, and that's fine, but we already committed to John, and we are standing by it strong. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to follow up on that,
real
the
quick,
chairman of the local
Microphone.
party has said that John is not on this ballot. He said that there was a misdate, they made a mistake. John is not the endorsed candidate.
Oh, that's
Can you address that?
Okay, but the independent party is here to support him. Okay, that was a verbal thing that I was told about, and I will be here for him. Okay, if the chair says that he'd like to support him, and it all started from Wilfredo, then we are going to continue to support him.
But is there a legal question? I understand what
No,
you're saying.
there's no legal
But is there a
question.
legal
No.
No, there is no
there
legal.
is none.
There is
And
no.
we don't want to
legal-
make this a legal thing because there's nothing there.
No, there is no legal question as it stands. I will be present on the row C on the independent line.
John, I sat down with you for an interview last week, and I asked you, would you accept the result of the Reju primary regardless of the result? And you said, and I quote, "If the people are satisfied and the vote is against me, then yes." So what changed?
We're not satisfied.
Well, let me just give you one example. Let me just give you one example. Helen School. I believe it was either 113 or 139 votes. In that one school, 25 of my supporters, just to mention one precinct out of 22, was turned away. We were inundated with calls from our supporters who voted for the primary and the general election for me, that showed up to vote and couldn't vote because mysteriously their affiliation was changed.
That's right.
Is this the DMV issue that you're talking about?
No.
Some were
Can't be right now
DMV,
again.
but to tell you they were all DMV, I cannot justify that. Some in other schools that I was with at 7 o'clock, 4 were turned away. So
So you're
What
sending
I
that
could-
to seek, right?
all complaints are documented and they're going to seek. At the same time, and I think I presented it to you, we had people that were deceased voting. And you had documentation to support that. So a fair and transparent election that happened, there's some questions to be determined on that.
Let the voters
But
decide.
this is one thing that the judge asked for the general election, where all voters of Bridgeport are going to participate, and it's not about party lines. It's about what's right for Bridgeport. And in November of last election, we showed it with, I believe, almost 800 surplus on our side.
So what do you see as your most viable path to victory moving forward? Lamont Daniels had about 2,000 people who voted for him. He dropped out. He's choosing not to endorse anybody. Are you disappointed in his decision not to endorse?
No, I would congratulate him on the race he ran. Obviously, we would love the support. That didn't transpire, but our focus remained the same. We talked to all the voters with Bridgeport, regardless of party affiliation, and hoping that they will believe on our side, on our pillars, on our mission, and believe that we are true to Bridgeport. Because if you look around me and behind me, it's not about demographic, it's not about gender, it's not about race, it's not about athletic ability, but it's about one Bridgeport.
That's right.
Will
John, you-
absentee ballots play a role in the general election?
Well, I mean, absolutely. I mean, the absentee ballot has been something that's been ongoing. And until the states and official, as I said, put some new guidelines in the next legislative session, which restrict or put some constraint on certain part of that, it's always going to be a factor.
John, you've made a couple allegations about why you feel you lost last Tuesday. But did your campaign fall short? I mean, could you have done more as a candidate? Could your campaign have done more to try and win that?
Well, in
Do
hindsight,
you
you
feel like there's things the campaign needs to do.
well,
differently?
in hindsight, you always could do more. You could do different, and that's part of what you do. You have the opportunity to do is to analyze the result and understand where you fell short, and correct those errors that you feel needs to be addressed. But overall, I'm very proud of what our campaign has historically has created a history for what we have done. So we will continue focused. We will continue to deliver our message. We will continue to talk to the voters. We will continue to engage with other organizations that want change for Bridgeport, and we will move forward.
Governor Lamont's office did put out a statement calling Mayor Ganem's win decisive, and his office goes on to say that he's encouraging voters to move on and turn the page from Bridgeport. What's your response to that?
Anti-democratic, it was
Well-
a primary.
So, I mean, that's one thing I would say. I would find his comment to look at dissuading certain voters. A general election is for all voters to participate.
That's right.
I understand.
Democratic process.
And for him to now come and make a statement, perhaps my question would be, where was he on September when all the evidence surfaced?
Where were their votes?
I would further go in that. I would further go to ask, where was he when the verdict was rendered by the Superior Court? I mean,
Support that.
at the same time, I do know there's some conflict as far as some of the consultant agency that he's been using that also has been hired by Ganem, that's also being operated by city employees. So, you know, if we're going to be transparent and ask for fair and equal and ask for us to unite, we have to make sure that we're saying it with equity across and representation across.
And if you could just remark, because we all know in this room, elections are not free. Somebody pays for them. So the city of Bridgeport, the taxpayers are going to have to fork over more money for yet another election. And hold on, there's been a lot of voter fatigue. We all have seen turnout go down with each round of voting. So how do you justify making voters go to the polls for a fourth time in 6 months?
How do we
Well,
justify Wanda still being employed?
I would say too that we have to understand why we are here today. We are here today because my opponent and people affiliated with his campaign, person that sits on the Democratic Town Committee that hasn't resigned, other city council members who has helped them, and yet when you talk about the financial cost, Wanda and some other people are on paid administrative leave. Up to this point, almost $40,000 from our taxpayers' money has been paid to this person while she commits the same action with absentee ballot for the last primary election that occurred. So I would ask the administration to justify that cost.
Can you be more specific? You were talking about a conflict the governor has. What's
Well,
the conflict with the
well,
consultant?
that
Do your
Yeah.
do your job as a journalist.
That's right.
there's information out there, you know, look at it, and then from there we would understand what I'm talking about.
You mentioned election reform and you want new guidelines. What are the specific changes you would like to see from the state level?
Number one, we need to put control on the ballot box. We need to control the number of ballots that's withdrawn by person. We need the application needs to be signed by the person. I think it needs to be done in term, not as a whole. You can't go in there and pick so much. Ask a little bit at a time until it's confirmed they're good, and then you get some new one. Also, there needs to be some type of scan mechanism that's put in the envelopes that connects directly to the Secretary of the State every time one is picked from the ballot box. And these ballot boxes should have 24 hours surveillance that's live to the residents of Bridgeport, so you can actually see everyone that's opening a ballot box. And before you open a ballot box, scan some type of an ID so your documentation is shown on that ballot box as you open it for data down the road.
Transparency.
Very much transparent.
John, I'm sorry. Just one question. If you're already saying that a lot of people that were involved in these in September are already still running, you already lost 3 times.
I didn't lose 3 times.
Never lost.
Let's make that fair.
Never lost.
Come on, Raul.
But what makes you think this time is going to be different?
Well, right now, if you look at the general election, we are reaching across all voters of Bridgeport. We go out there, we do what we can, and we communicate our pillar, our message to the voters of Bridgeport, and we pray for the best outcome possible. We can't guarantee the future. But the thing is, to give up is to concede, and to concede is to accept, and to accept is to repeat history, and to repeat history means that Bridgeport will never change. I thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you on the battlefields. And I want to say thank you to these people here and those that are out there. I see Raul. I see other people in the back. I see Anna. See Zeke. See Ms. Ricky. See Jen now. See Mr. Lee. Donna. Michael, I mean, I can't tell you guys how much this means to you to walk into this room and see everyone here, because it shows that in unity there's strength. We know the difficulty ahead, but united and putting God first, every and anything is possible. So I want to say thank you to everyone. Well, let's get to work.
Hurry!